Welcome to the Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast, your home for all things football at Waldorf University, the best small college football experience in America. Hosted by Andy Buffington and me, Troy Thompson, from the secret bunker beneath Bullsdorf Field.
Welcome to this episode of the Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast. Troy,
Yeah.
kind of took a bit of a hiatus, didn't I?
Well, you deserved it. You're working hard. You're basically doing two jobs plus a home life and family and everything like that. So, yeah, you go fishing, then you got to find your peace.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's good to be back. It's good to talk to both our fans and just kind of get recentered. And as the season's winding down, the Warriors are closing out as this episode drops. They're going to be joyfully on their way to Dickinson, North Dakota.
Yeah.
And again, Eastern Montana, because it's hell and gone from civilization.
Way out there.
Oh my gosh.
This drops at midnight. Nobody listens, I don't think, at midnight. So, yeah, by the time, I don't know when people start picking this up or whatever, but they're up and when this drops, literally, they're up in just a few hours from now and getting on the bus, and I think they're rolling out. I think Coach said like 5 o'clock.
Yeah, they have to be on the bus at 4:30, and they pop smoke at 5.
Yeah.
And boom, they're on their way. They'll drive up. They'll have a meal in Fargo.
Mm-hmm.
So their first taste of North Dakota.
Yeah,
and of course it's going to be snowing up
yeah
there. And Fargo's right on the edge, but Dickinson, beginning on Wednesday night into Friday morning, they were anticipating between 7 and 11 inches of snow.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Are we wearing white uniforms?
We're wearing white over purple.
Oh, okay.
When Coach Chop and I had that conversation yesterday, and I said, "What pants?" He goes, "What do you think?" I said, "Purple."
Yeah.
Purple or black? Please.
Yeah.
Let's not double the workload on Sunday.
Oh man.
Happy to do it, obviously. But they're gonna go to Jamestown. They're gonna do their walkthroughs in Jamestown and then continue on, get to Dickinson and bed down and do their team meetings and have their meal and get up on Saturday to a crisp north winter air. Kickoff high is supposed to be about 22 to 23 degrees with 12 to 18 mile an hour winds out of the northwest, which is going to lead to a 10 to 12 degree wind chill.
Right there.
So some of our kids that haven't experienced winter that were telling their families, like, I'm looking forward to seeing some winter. They're getting it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're getting it.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's punching them in the face. But
Is Jamestown going to be they're in the GPAC?
they're currently in the GPAC,
Yeah.
and it sounds like they have decided to leave the GPAC. That was something I saw on Twitter, X.
Yeah.
Formerly known as Twitter.
Right.
So yeah, they're leaving the GPAC. I don't know where they're going. You know, I think years ago they were part of the North Star.
Okay.
Just don't know what is going to happen with the North Star with Waldorf leaving, and obviously last year presentation on Iowa Wesleyan shuttering their universities, and so wish them the best. It's been a good home for us for a few years,
and we don't know, but even there's rumors that Dickinson is looking at a different place too. So I don't know.
You hear rumblings that they're looking at the frontier, and quite
That's a
literally
lot of travel. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they go from now they're over in southwestern North Dakota, but they would travel through Idaho, Oregon, and Arizona. I just think of the travel budget. But again, state school just raise everybody's taxes.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my gosh.
Goodness sakes.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next year. Actually, not even the next year. I'd say in the next 7 months or less. Because
it's got to happen sooner than that. It's got to.
People have to make decisions, ADs, and have to make schedules happen. And I'm sure that everybody's kind of poking around.
But the bright spot is that we don't have to worry about
it.
We are GPAC members starting this next year. We're going to finish out with the North Star for the remainder of this academic year, and then we're going to be full members. And like our longest would be like Hastings, down in South Central Nebraska. I think it's like a 6-hour drive.
Not too bad.
No, that'd be like going to Mayville.
Yeah,
which is like, ooh, that's one of the close ones.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So we're fortunate in that regard. We'll be. I can't wait to see the schedule. to see all that Coach Chapa would tell me, because I got a big mouth and a podcast.
Yeah, right. We do have that.
Yeah, well, there's that. So all he said is that we have one open date and we're looking to fill it. So who knows? Maybe he'll throw Dickinson in there.
Well, I think we're done playing Dickinson after Saturday. I think, they're always a tough competitor, and the Blue Hawks that's a good program.
They are.
You can't
program.
deny that. And
Yep.
They kind of had their way with us when they came to Bull Store Field, and of course that was the infamous delay of the rain and the lightning, and
just
and
4
all
quick
that.
hours.
Yeah,
Sitting in the D-Jack.
Yeah, so it was something, and now I think this will be. I think the guys are looking forward to leaving them with a memory, and hopefully a good one for us. And but it'll be a challenge. Not only is that weather involved, but it's a tough program too. So no excuses though. Every game, everybody's got to play in the same weather. It's the same size field, same age of kids. So it's just a matter of who's going to get after it.
Yeah, Dickinson. They're big. They're disciplined. They're well coached. And they're. From my understanding, from not just Coach Chapa, but our former coaches, that they're always good hosts.
Yeah.
So, and they've got beautiful facilities, and it just happens to be in the middle of a rock desert.
Well, you've stopped by my place many times, Andy, and then in our little shed or whatnot, we've got 2 state flags that are hanging up, and there's no loyalty to Dickinson, but half of the family does come from North Dakota.
Well, yeah.
Heidi's side is all Noy Dakotans, and I think my father-in-law probably went to just about every school for college in North Dakota. He never stayed anywhere very long. I think he might have been at Mayville. I could be making all that up, but he's just been around. He was around, I think. Yeah. And in fact, I know that one of his stories was that he was a teacher, and so in order to get a job as a teacher, he got the job, but they ultimately needed to see his credentials and they needed to see his diploma from college. But because they charged for the diploma back then, I don't know if colleges still do that or not.
Don't know.
Just rolled up in the tuition somewhere, I suppose. But they did charge for that, or an extra copy, or whatever it was that he needed, and he refused out of just. His honor was like, I paid you to give me my degree.
It's probably like $4 back in the day.
Yeah, right.
You got to be kidding me.
Just out of principle, he wouldn't do it. Yeah. So I think that the school district paid for it.
Of course, back in the day, $4 might fill up your car.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There was one time, talk about the weather in North Dakota. I do remember a story. He used to also officiate different games, basketball, and he played basketball and golf and baseball and all these different sports, of course. But one of the times he was officiating, or at some point he had run out of gas, and it might have been with Reed, of course, who's a big gridiron supporter, and or it might have been with my wife Heidi, and the wind was so strong out there in the plains of North Dakota that they had the big old car from back in the 70s and 80s. They just threw open the doors and caught the wind and sailed along using the power of wind and giant car doors.
Yeah, my family's much the same way. My mother's side comes from Hettinger, North Dakota.
Oh, okay.
South of Dickinson. And
well, they're good people up there.
Oh, they're wonderful human beings. And my mom's aunt and uncle, we visited them many, many times when I was young, and Uncle Floyd and Aunt Ann, they were just wonderful people. And Floyd was, he drove ambulance for the Long Beach Fire Department. By the time that we got out there and I was young, he'd since retired, and he was just a character. He called me Zeke. I don't know why he called me Zeke, but he called me Zeke.
Okay. Yeah, because that's close to the Andy, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And Floyd always had a Pall Mall hanging out his mouth.
Yeah.
But he always used to give my mom, my great aunt Ann, a bad time. He's like, "Yeah, got out to North Dakota and put shoes on you, moved you out of the farm, and made a woman out of you." Yeah, he was just that way. And of course, Ann, she didn't appreciate the humor as much as the rest of us did. Yeah. But the whole, walking around barefooted.
In our dining room, Andy, there's a picture a relatively famous picture in North Dakota of the Prairie family, the atypical North Dakotan Prairie family with the sod house and about 11 kids and the whole mess.
And oil dripping out of the rocks.
And that is Heidi's great grandpa. and so there you go.
Is anybody smiling in that picture?
Nobody's smiling. Not a single one of them.
Well, they were hungry.
Yeah,
more than likely.
Yeah, crazy how that works.
So anyway, the Warriors are going to North Dakota, and they're going to play football. I think it's been developed a bit since the the late 19th century, early 20th, but who knows?
It'd be cool if their concession stand was a sod hut, though. I mean, just for old time's sake.
Yeah. what would North Dakotans serve? I don't know. I mean, Minnesota, you'd go, well, they got a lutefisk over here. It's pretty nice, don't you know?
They've got a lot. I mean, from what I hear, I've only been up there a few times, but in family and whatnot. But I think they're similar in the sense a lot of Scandinavians, a lot of Finlanders up there.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. And then, of course, Native Americans and all the other usual immigrant settlers to the Great Plains. So, yeah, probably an interesting group of folks, and you look at the roster for Dickinson or Mayville or any of the schools that we play, and there's a lot of Scandinavian names, and then there's also a lot of Native American names too. So you get the full gamut.
Yeah.
I thought, boy, I could be wrong, but I thought that like Mayville had some kind of weird Polynesian connection in their roster. It seemed like they had.
They could.
Yeah. So I don't know where somebody's recruiting from.
The Pacific Islanders.
Yeah. I mean, if you can get that recruiting gig, though.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, well, I got to go to American Samoa.
It is a territory in the United States, so you don't need a passport.
No,
which is nice.
Yeah, I've never been, but
well, I think
chances are I'd be the smallest guy there. They're big dudes.
Oh, yeah, they are, and they're warriors.
Yeah,
they're a very proud people, and we Sione Malisi that was on our roster. Unfortunately, Sione John got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
He's Tongan, which is part of the Pacific Island, and I told him, I said, hey, maybe what we can do is you can teach all these dudes how to do the haka before the game. And he's like, oh,
that'd be great.
That's all he really said is, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of Mayville, and that wasn't Mayville. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, it was. No, who did we just play? It was Mayville.
It was Mayville State. Yeah, we lost to them.
Oh, man.
That's a tough one.
I tried to forget it, but it is. We had a conversation on Wednesday with the coaches and talked it through and everything. And Coach made a good point. I kind of started a line of questions with just it's like, so they came in, they were 1-6 on the year, and how did we not win that? And he had a good point. He's like, well, it's the NSAA, it's the NAIA. You can't take the records into account. They went in a double overtime with Valley City.
Yeah.
They're a tough team. They kind of had our number as far as like figuring out, what they needed to do. Did have a strong amount of wind that day as well. I think we were in the 20-mile-an-hour plus gusts, and I don't think the flag ever laid down on the south end of the field. So it was a tough game. They had the advantage of the wind in the first quarter. We had it in the second, couldn't convert, went into halftime 14-0, came out and, did the best we could, but ultimately didn't work out for us.
No. And that's why we play the games. I know the kids, obviously those guys are disappointed. They put a lot into that and a lot of preparation and everything else. And, it just kind of leaves everybody scratching their head because you go into a game like Mayville just expecting to win.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as a fan,
Yeah, right.
The coaches
as a fan, right. Yeah.
Yeah. The coaches know it's going to be a battle. And Mayville is, they're not going to give anything to you.
No.
And there's enough tape. I mean, we've had enough of the season where, good coaching like they have at Mayville and obviously Dickinson too, they're going to look at, what's working against this offense, what's working against this defense. And, they're going to try to replicate that as much as possible until we can show that we can shut it down.
Right.
And I think Mayville they had a good game plan and, just things just didn't roll our way.
it's obviously unusual to have a season where you play the same schools in your conference twice, and that is something that occurred because of the absence of the presentation and Iowa Wesleyan, and so everybody that we have in the conference, we see them twice. So we're heading out to Dickinson. We played Mayville. We had Dakota State before and beat them, and then lost to Mayville. Heading out to Dickinson, and then Valley City after a bye week. So it is unusual, but it's kind of the same deal. The football field's the same size. The kids are the same age. It's the NAIA, and so. Anything can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the chatter around the locker room this week is, let's go up there and give them our best game. Let's do what we do. And, there's nothing to say that the Warriors can't leave Dickinson, 4:30, 5 o'clock on Saturday with a victory.
Absolutely.
Which would be great for the seniors because those kids haven't beat Dickinson. They've come close, we've played them tough here and there, but they've kind of had our number a few different times. There's no reason not to go up there. If you're going to get on a bus for 10 and a half hours, go up and win.
Yeah, exactly.
But the fatigue factor and all those other things are, just really depends on how they mentally prepare.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. It's something that we'll have to deal with. The Blue Hawks are, like we said, they're going to be a challenge. But I think overall, this season, we're looking at. I talked to Chad Gassman a little bit before the game on Saturday with Mayville. And we thought, well, this is an important game to win because it does kind of assure a victory as far as, or a winning, like a better than 500 season. And I think what we're looking for is a 500 season or better still in this situation. Dickinson will be tough. We can beat Dickinson. We can beat Valley. Those are the two games that we've got left, and we'll just have to see what happens and figure it out. But he looked at it like, he said that at the beginning of the season, considering the schedule and all of that, that if you can leave if you leave the season at 4-6, that's okay considering the deal. If you've got if you're 500, you're coming out and it's like that's good. And then obviously anything better than that is amazing and outstanding. So I think we're on track for that, and I think that's something that we look forward to. Of course, you're always looking for a win, and the guys have been working hard, and they've seen the film, and they've been they've played these guys before, just like they've played us, and so it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I think that regardless. When this season is over, we come out of it. We're heading into a new conference. We're going to say goodbye to some really key seniors in some key positions. But we've also had some opportunities to see some of their backfills and their two deeps play this season as well. And those are shining stars too in the making.
Yeah, for sure. We've got and there's no replacing dudes like Cade Kloster-Hodak, who I have nothing but respect for as a football player and as a human being. Love that kid to death. I mean, I'm going to miss him every day. Luckily he's local, so he's not going to pack up and do like what Gerard and DQ did and go down to South Florida and not be cold.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. He's Mason City kid.
Yeah.
So,
Will Strickland and Edwan Works and Jordan Cooper and, just laundry list, Dom Watt. I mean, these guys that, Malik Adams, these guys that have given so much to the program and turned it into what it is. And I know I'm missing people.
Yeah. Right.
And I don't want to sit here and try to name all the seniors because I'm not good at that, but we, we're going to miss those guys. But the nice part is that we have people coming up through the back. We've got some young people out there, You look at a kid like Jeremiah Smith, that's a captain, is a sophomore. He's obviously playing well, and he's more fun to listen to.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's great. He's fun to listen to. But just those kids coming up, our linebackers. We've got, you've got the Handle brothers coming back.
Yeah.
And that's crucial. Kaysen is, the dude is a spark plug. He can lay a hammer down on you, and then his I would say younger brother.
Yeah,
I don't want to say little brother. But yeah, Keegan just plays well in there, and he just is going to keep getting better.
Yeah.
But then, we're losing somebody like Thomas Edwards that,
Yeah.
Thomas, got his way back on this team and got himself eligible and all these other stuff. And he's a producer, and he's an intense individual, and just he's a golden human. So,
yeah. Yeah, and you talk about guys like, Will Strickland, who came from D1, came out here, made an impact right away, and now he's fixing to graduate and do great things. And so you just want to keep those guys around. And speaking of keeping guys around, we had Liam Stone on the program last week, and with the coaches, and I think they must have been talking obviously in advance. I don't think he dropped the bomb or anything, but it was a surprise to me that he does have a year of eligibility left. He is one of the seniors we recognized, and yet he thinks he's probably done. And there's some look. You take a beating when you're right down there on the offensive line, and he's been there grinding away for quite a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it's tough to see. Like every year you see seniors graduate, and that's what they came here to do.
And that's what we want them to do.
Right. Yeah.
We want them to walk across that stage, and that's a finality for us. And, but the best part is that it's those guys that have built this program to make it easier to recruit. I think us joining the GPAC is also going to help the recruiting as well, because we're not going up against state schools, that really can subsidize their programs, which whatever.
Right.
But at the same time, now we're really kind of in the mix of those schools, and are we going to be at the top of the conference? Are we going to be in the top third, I think.
I think that's right, Andy. I think that my prediction is, and this is not a negative at all. I think we're coming in pretty fairly middle, and can get upwards, just depending on how things go. But I definitely don't think we're in the bottom half at all. We're right there in the middle, and we can go up. So
you bet. Well, because let's be honest. Northwestern College in Orange City, they started the season number 1 ranked, and they've stayed number 1. They're getting all the first place votes. Morningside is like number 3. I think the top 3 teams are all Iowa teams in the NAIA. Then throw Dort in there.
Yeah.
There's just some great schools in the GPAC, and that's going to make us better.
Right.
And I look forward to the level of competition. I look forward to the travel not being so ridiculous anymore. But it is what it is. And, we're going to, like I said, the farthest we'd be going was Hastings down in, in South Central.
And you haven't seen the schedule yet because they won't show it to you.
Well, they can't because I got a big mouth.
Right. And a podcast, as we mentioned. Ugh. I know that one of the GPAC members is out there in Nebraska. That's Doane. And of course, we know Sean Henry. He was
the DC down at Doane.
He was on our first podcast episode, first ever. And he's been down there now for a couple of years and working away. So it'd be kind of fun to run into him. It
would be. Yeah, it'd be good to see Sean again.
Yeah.
And obviously, Doane struggled a little bit this year, and again, not following their program other than, I'll shoot the occasional text.
Well, Sean puts like 61 paragraphs in a Facebook post every Saturday game day,
He does.
Yeah.
He does. And that's kind of his tradition.
It is.
And it hypes him up, and hopefully it gets his guys going as well. But, I'd like to think that we're going to go down there, or they're coming up here at some point in the season, and we'll get to see him and see what he's doing. And I hope we beat the pants off him too.
Yeah, well, absolutely. That's the name of the game, and it's fun to be in a conference as we head into next year. Not there yet, but we're looking forward to it, I guess, is the thing to remember.
I'm very excited. That's been a talk that you and I have had for the last couple of years, just about that's where we belong.
Yeah, it is.
And it really helped that Waldorf University is now a private nonprofit Christian-based educational institution, and that's part of what you have to be to be in the GPAC. So all those things, we checked the boxes, and they welcomed us with open arms, and we don't have to go back to North Dakota.
Right. And I think, and especially if Jamestown leaves, so then we don't have to go back to.
And I've heard that they are, but again,
we'll see.
it's hearsay.
Right.
But again, Jamestown is a
Nothing against the great state of North Dakota, but it is a bit of
absolutely
a trip.
not. I mean, that's the motherland.
Yeah, they're the farthest outlier. I mean, Jamestown would be the farthest away. So if they are not part of the GPAC any longer, then that makes the travel schedule a little bit easier, because we'll certainly be in the north half of the GPAC. The way I understand it, they're going to split it up into kind of a north and a south.
Yeah, it sounds that way.
So
I'm looking again. You're looking forward to it. We're seeing different teams.
Yeah,
we're going to be seeing different parts of the world, and we're not going. I mean, if we're playing in October against Hastings, it's probably not going to be a lot of snow on the ground.
Right.
Well, there could be.
Yeah.
But the chances are it's going to be weather very similar, possibly even a little bit warmer than ours.
Yeah.
Because you get down to where Doane is at in Crete, Nebraska, which is a little bit southwest of Lincoln, Nebraska. So
south of here.
Oh, man.
I talked to President Bob Alsop. He was on the other podcast that I host, and that one is just a good conversation about Waldorf and small private colleges and that type of thing. And good. He had a great point. You talk about Waldorf being able to join the GPAC, coming back to its roots, and being a nonprofit organization. I don't think they ever lost their Christian fellowship as far as a school and a university goes, but they definitely, when you were for profit, you don't fit into the GPAC. And so when the foundation was able to come up with the funds, and I didn't realize this, but it wasn't like it was a money-making deal for the Mays family either, for Columbia Southern that had purchased Waldorf 12 years ago. Mm-hmm. They obviously Waldorf bought itself back, but at the same time, the Mays family had other offers that were better that they didn't accept because they cared about this institution, and that speaks very highly of the Mays family. And
wonderful people.
Yeah, for sure, and so very grateful to them, and not just for that, but so talking about the what it takes. You talk about presentation leaving or Iowa Wesleyan going down or whatnot, and you look at what is it? How can Waldorf sustain itself when you're less than 700 students? Well, we're not. We're actually we're the third largest private school in the state of Iowa because of the online.
Yeah, over 3,000.
We had no idea, according to Bob Alsop, how to do that well. Had it not been for the Columbia Southern experience, because that's all that they did. And so they came in, and then they got a brick and mortar institution for 12 years. And they also taught Waldorf how to do, many things, but two primarily. And one was, this is a business, and you got to run it like a business.
Yeah.
Which they knew how to do, and that's why they were for profit. And so they taught Waldorf how to be a nonprofit school that can price itself well so that it's competitive, and then also continue to remain solvent. And Waldorf isn't solvent yet, but when you look at their total, debt service, I mean, it's just a few $1 million, and which is nothing compared to you look at the Iowa Wesleyans that were, $30 million in debt and a ditch, and just on and on and on. I don't know what presentation story was, and there are other schools in the state of Iowa that are in the tens of millions of dollars in debt service, and Waldorf does not have that, so they're on the right track. And they learned that because of the experience that they had with Columbia Southern. The second thing that they learned was how to successfully conduct online education.
You bet.
And so now Waldorf is just on the up and moving further in that direction. And that's good for our programs. And you talk about our football program and all of our athletic programs and all of the other wonderful programs that Waldorf has a tradition for. Well, on campus, residential education is expensive.
Yes.
And so the element that they get from that online source makes Waldorf successful. So I wouldn't be surprised, Andy, in a few years, 4 or 5 years, this freshman class that's coming through, I think that Waldorf will be have transitioned in many ways, facilities wise, and just the experiences of all of their students and all of the different capacities and programs that they've got.
Yeah, and they're bringing the right people in. I had the opportunity to sit down with Severin Roberts, and she's a very very intelligent individual. She knows what she's doing. And she carries herself. She's a very interesting person. And I don't say that with anything other than she's very impressive in her demeanor. She's super laid back. She's not imposing or anything like that, but you can tell that she's got a very strong will.
Yeah.
And she's going to give Waldorf their best shot.
Yeah.
For that development.
And that's exciting we do this because we love Waldorf. We love our community, and we love it when people come here and get an education here. And when we get to share a little bit about what we're all about with them, they take a little bit of Waldorf and a little bit of Forest City in the North Iowa region with them. We say that all the time. And so it's just exciting to think about, what this little school can do, and what the future might hold.
Yeah, and again, for us as Gridiron members and people that are connected to this program, the reality is we want Waldorf to be successful, so that every year we can march 20 or 30 dudes across the stage. That Waldorf, that football team, that was a means to an end. We want them to be good football players. We want them to be good human beings, good dads, good brothers and husbands and all these other things. But very importantly, at this point in their life, we want them to be college graduates.
Yeah.
And that's what the football program needs to be all about. And it's what it is. That's what, again, I said it's a means to an end. That's what this football program is.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you're going to come here, you're going to play football, you're going to use your talents to help pay for your education. And then you're going to get that education to go out and make a difference in this world.
Coach Bolstorff said it best when we interviewed him a little over a year ago. Be the person God wants you to be.
Amen.
And so that's it's exciting. I look forward to the success of the program and the kids that will continue to become warriors. And I look forward to the parents that will get to meet in the tailgate area with the Gridiron Club and just as we travel around. I think it'll be fun to take it on the road. It's a little easier, in all honesty, to take it on the road when you're only going a few hours or less. And so instead of 10 hours, that gets pretty challenging. Of course, we've got lots of wonderful, dedicated parents. And, I've been one of those back in the day too, where you just travel wherever you need to go. And some of those trips can be interesting and exciting. It was a different conference for us, but why else would you go to Duluth at that time of the year, which is what we did. And you have a memory. It wasn't in that case, it wasn't a great memory. We didn't win, but it was fun to go up and travel. The problem with the NSAA is that a lot of the places that you're going to travel to, you don't have the hotel experience that you might have in some of the other towns and bigger cities. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yep. So
they could say the same thing about us, though.
Yeah. True. The cobblestone's nice.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. But you're right. We do have that core group of parents that are continuing the tradition of feeding the guys after that. I can't say enough good things about Chad and Amber Erdman, as well as Jason and Jessica Bruckhoff. They spearheaded the feeding of the players, and then you have the Odegaard family, and you have the Lindsay family stepping up, and that's just going to continue to grow. It's great to look out at the tailgate last Saturday and not see as many folks as there normally is.
Yeah.
But still be different than almost any other program in the NAIA, small college like this, to see that those rows just filled up with people having a great time. They got their TVs going, watching, the Hawkeyes or whatever.
Right.
And don't even start me on.
We might have been down, I'd say, maybe 50 regular tailgaters. There's usually maybe 100 or so, or a couple hundred people out there, which is great. Wind and weather made a difference. And then, the Pritchard Family Auto Store portable bar couldn't be there. There was a family situation, and appreciate everything going on and everything that Scott does for the program and for Waldorf athletics in general. Not just, obviously, Scott works for Pritchard's, and they just do a lot of great things for 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 all of the programs.
Yeah, the porta potty didn't get put up, but there's still
that was a big. But
televisions.
there was a big space open,
Huge gap.
and you could tell that people were like, "Well, I'm sure it's coming," because nobody filled it in,
Yeah.
and so it looked a little odd to not have the portable bar there. But it'll be back again like it is every season. So
absolutely, yeah. Looking forward to next season. Our home games already. Granted, the season's not done, but you get kind of fatigued through the season. You as Colin PA and myself as working with the team, and I love every minute of it. But I'm looking forward to that third weekend in November when hopefully I can take some time to help staff check equipment back in. But there's part of me that doesn't want to be there. Just because you're gonna look at somebody like Cade Kloster-Hodak turning in that helmet for the last time, and it's going to be gut wrenching.
Yeah.
And
it comes up on you quick, and you don't even think about it because you're working so hard. You're working way harder than I am, and I just think about the last PA experience this season on Saturday, and the game's over. Thanks for coming. We wish you the best of luck to all the fans that came and everything like that. And then it's like you sign off, and you're like, oh,
that's it.
Just like that. The 23 season was over for me. Now it's not over for the team, and obviously we're still, this podcast is what we love to do. But all of a sudden, you're walking away going, "Oh, I'm not going back in the PA box till the next fall." Yeah.
And again, it's I kind of got to giggling. I'm standing back during introductions. I'm standing back behind the fence, just letting everybody get out so they can do their thing. But you want to get out there, and I want to watch those seniors, walk down in amongst their team one more time, and be recognized as somebody that's contributed to the program. And of course, when you get to the higher numbers, our linemen and Logan Miller, he was emotional. Cade was emotional. Liam was emotional. I mean, not like can't walk blubbering fools, but
right.
I looked over at Coach Ani, and he just got this look of pride on his face and big smile, and then he kind of rubs his eyes a little bit and goes, "Oh, it always gets me when fat guys cry."
Isn't that the case though?
And no other coach can say that because he's their position coach. He can call them fat guys. I wouldn't call them that.
No.
So, yeah, I'm just repeating what Coach Ethan Ani said.
Yeah,
but what are you going to do? Tangle with him? I mean, come on.
No, it was a great day. It was, of course, it was senior day, and we're not to the end of the season yet. We still got 2 games that are away, as we've already mentioned. But I think it's probably a good time to take a look at our seniors, as just to mention them, and we'll do a senior episode again later on. When we get into a little deeper into the Gridiron Club podcast season here, but
we'll have to get some of those guys, here into the bunker to just kind of give their parting shots. Liam's been on a couple times now, so he. We may or may not have him because you never know what he's going to say.
Yeah,
especially now that he doesn't have to worry about playing time.
He did pretty well on the podcast, and then it was fun to just play the full recorded version, essentially, of what we did for the recorded Warriors live show, and the interim things is what was funny, and the way the coaches just couldn't get over some of the things that Liam said. So
yeah, absolutely, which is true all the time.
Yeah,
and he's relatively edited out in public, but you put him in a locker room around the guys, and he says things that just make you wonder what goes through that beautiful brain is.
Yeah, what's going on?
Because he's super smart. Dude is smart as a whip.
Yeah.
But no, and we can keep talking about our seniors, obviously, but the recruits that we had on Saturday, like 29 recruits, that was great to have that. We had Coach Chapa mentioned on the on Warriors Live that the number 3 kicker in the state is up here looking at Waldorf, and I saw on Twitter, I don't follow her, but she mentioned that she received an offer for Waldorf, and the head coach is Matt Daniels down there, and we love us some Matt Daniels. And so hopefully he's pushing hard for the Woo, and it'd be great. I just side note is I had my own recruit there this weekend. He's actually
Yes.
he's
Yep.
family. He's
Yep.
family.
Got to meet him finally.
Yep. Pierce Clennert, he's my guy. Pierce just got to hang with me in the locker room and on the sideline. And, Pierce is 14 years old and he's about as tall as I am. And he's a big kid. And so I kept telling everybody that, he's just my recruit.
Yeah.
So
wasn't wearing the proper footwear, in my opinion, on Saturday when I met him in the tailgate area. I'm always a little judgmental of the footwear that kids wear. And he was, I think he was in
Crocs.
Crocs. Yeah. I'll never get it. How can you?
I don't know.
How can you do and advance a position in Crocs or slides?
But again, he's a 14-year-old kid.
He's not thinking about advancing the position.
I'll tell you what, you should walk through the locker room if you want to talk about footwear.
Oh, I believe that. Yeah.
Some of the things these guys wear, like coach, these are so comfortable. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm kind of a function over comfort.
Yeah, I'm a function guy too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Like right now, I'm looking at new hiking boots.
Yeah, right.
Like, I got to get some new hikers.
That's right.
Winter's coming.
Waterproof, comfortable, and of course, you can go through whatever you need. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's right. Traction. Basically, the 4-wheel drive of shoes.
Absolutely right.
Well, I think one of the biggest impacts that we're going to see is in absence is we lose our quarterback. Jordan Cooper is graduating and moving on to different things, and like I said, we're not going to make this a senior episode, but Jordan came off the field a little bit against Mayville towards the end there. It looked like he was maybe had a little shoulder situation, or I don't know what it was, but he felt something. He came off, and but. That was okay. Siegel came in and
Nick did a great job. Gets in.
We had him on the show way early in the season this year. Yeah,
Nick's ready to go all the time.
He is ready.
We have that kind of athlete ready, and I mean, you go through our stable of quarterbacks right now, and behind Nick is usually going to be Carter.
Yeah, Bruckhoff.
He's going to be right in there. And I mean, if Carter would have went out there, he'd have done a fantastic job. Coach Donadio is doing a great job with quarterbacks, and we've got some freshmen.
Now, I thought Carter did see some game time this season. I thought he was in. Am I mistaken? I thought he had. I'm not.
I don't think so, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
All right. Maybe one of the away games I didn't go to, but and again, I don't usually have the luxury of paying a whole lot of attention to the game on the sideline, and sometimes I do. I kind of do, watching from over the guys.
Are you always fixing equipment, or are you? I mean, because when I'm looking down at you, you're talking to the guys. A lot of the time. Yeah,
and that's. I mean, I try to front load it. I try to make sure that I'm in that locker room as soon as they arrive. So if there's any little tweak that they need to do, I'll go through and make sure that somebody's back plate, if it's screwed on, that the screws are tightened. That if it. Just looking at their helmet, making sure that, because just as you show up, like, hey, coach, my chin strap's not working. So you put a new chin strap on and you double check with them, like, how's it fitting? Is it comfortable? Right. And is it safe? Obviously safety is paramount because that's why they wear helmets.
Right.
So all those little things, and you just got to know where your stuff is at. I can't remember what game it was, but Skylar Schmidt came running over and my shoulder pads broke, and the strings that were holding, he had an older pair of shoulder pads, and the strings that they were probably, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years old, and they broke.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got to really quick know where your strings are, your spare ones, and lace it up real quick and whoosh, get him to go while he's just holding his shirt up and he's sweaty and slimy and he stinks.
Ready to go. Yeah,
but it's Skylar. I mean,
they have a particular odor, but it's not as bad as hockey. We can be thankful for that.
Amen. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something to that. You said Dom Watt. Dom fought his way, in and out of the program and back in, and all kinds of cool things that Dom's done. He just got the Warrior of the Week this past week. The Gridiron Club awarded him, and so that's a great story there, and obviously, Vontae Harper. I can't believe he's a senior, but he's involved in everything, and he's been just basically used in every which way that you can on that
true utility
program.
Athlete.
Absolutely.
You could, because he's one of the things that's fun to watch, and I don't know how much the fans have paid attention, is watching Vontae on the punt team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he loves getting down there.
Yeah.
And he wants to crush
people.
Does.
He
wants to crush people. Like, you can't believe, he just loves it. And he's super intense. And I'll say about Vontae is that he was always cheering for his team. always
Yeah.
cheering for
Yep.
his team. You know, he might not have got early in the season. Maybe he didn't get as much playing time as he wanted. And as they start using him more and things like that, but it didn't matter to him.
No.
I mean, I'm sure it did, but the reality is that he just had a great attitude
Yeah.
throughout. And
Well, he's an athlete. I mean, you meet him outside of the pads, and
boy.
he's a pretty fit dude for sure. You mentioned Thomas Edwards. Can't forget Edwan Works. We'll talk about all these guys again on the senior episode, but Sam Christensen as well. And there's a guy that has been with the program and working hard. Didn't always get all the playing time that he wanted, but
ready to go to moment's notice.
ready to go. And
Minuteman.
yeah, Roberto Morales.
Yeah, Artie.
Yeah.
Yep.
I do not know him very well. So.
Number 33,
Yep.
Artie's real quiet.
Yeah.
But everybody loves him. And, he gets in there from time to time and he makes impacts. He's just, like I said, he's a quiet kid.
Yeah.
And, but again, he's popular among the team.
Can't believe Isaac Burgett, who came to the program as a running back, is the punter and from our Minnesota kid, and he's just north a little bit of the way, and he's graduating. So
yeah, Bergie, I tell you what, he's a fun guy.
Yeah,
one of the things that's impressive, and maybe his mom and dad will listen to this, but you'll see him before a game. They're just kind of hanging around their lockers, the team meetings are done, and then it's just getting themselves dressed, and there's loud music and everything else. And Isaac generally is in scripture.
Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I love that. I love it.
And we have a lot of kids like that.
Yeah.
That their faith is so very important to them. And it's good to see that.
Yeah, Nathaniel Davis, Malachi Love. I don't want to, like I said, we're going to have an episode like we did last year for this. Roland Russ, all these guys, not necessarily names that you hear all the time, but they're seniors that are graduating. Logan Miller, you mentioned him, obviously very dear to the program. Kloster Hodak as well, and then Liam, we said something too. So 14 seniors is what what we recognized on Saturday, and we'll spend some more time down the road with that. But it's just good to have this great stable of athletes and leaders that have meant so much to the program and everything that they've done for the team. And we like to think that they've developed quite a bit as athletes and as people.
Yeah, absolutely. You're talking about quality individuals. And you mentioned Malachi Love. Malachi didn't see the field much at all through his time here at Waldorf. And Malachi is just a beautiful person.
Yeah.
Love him to death. He's just, I told him the story of my nickname in Boy Scouts, and how I got it. So he calls me Beef all the time.
Okay.
But yeah, he's always got a smile on his face. He's a very, he is just a positive individual.
Yeah.
Always got a smile. Always got a smile.
Well, so speaking of bringing a smile to your face and staying positive, we've positively been making impacts as a Gridiron Club the entire year. The donations are down a little bit, but we've discussed that as a committee, and we recognize what the deal is. It's not a negative thing, because we're seeing like the football program is seeing much better direct donations because of the change in status to 501c3 for the university. Wonderful. And so as long, and then the Gridiron Club was always a 501c3 in addition to support the football program, and we still continue to do that. But it was because the others, when Columbia Southern owned us, they were nonprofit, and so you had to create these additional entities. That doesn't mean that anything that so what we've been focusing on is how do we continue with our mission, which is to support the program, make it the best small college football experience in America. Some of the things we've done so far this year are administrative in many ways. Well, I don't know if call it administrative, but maintenance or administrative.
Yeah.
So getting those 6 lines, those 6 power stations hooked up in the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4 of them. Yeah, you hold up the fingers and So the power stations on the north end of the football field, everybody appreciates that.
Yeah,
we thought we'd have it for community night, and they were there.
We will next year.
Yeah, they definitely will be there for next year. And we had them all season except for that first home game, and it wasn't our fault. It was just the state didn't come and make sure it was okay.
They were there. They just weren't powered.
Right. So we did that. We also did something that was pretty cool, and we've been talking about doing it for a long time, and I'm so glad that we have it because it's just beautiful. We worked with Koloff Media, and we came up and got this website built for the Gridiron Club, which is long been dreamed of, and now we've got it. And it's if you want to go there and check it out, it's live. It's WaldorfGridironClub.com. We've been talking .org. Yeah, .org. I said .org. Not Dort. GPAC. So WaldorfGridironClub.org is where you go. And Andy, they did a great job. I love looking at our website.
Yeah, they did a good job. One thing that I want to promote is that, sometimes people don't like to send a check or drop cash, or they're just too far away, but go there and you can use your card and donate to our organization. It's really, really quick, Weston with Koloff Media, he spearheaded the project, and I had a few meetings with him and just kind of keep going through stuff, and he did a phenomenal job. It looks great.
It's beautiful. The images are beautiful. The everything is just really good. It's very easy to navigate.
Yes.
There's only 5 bars at the top. Well, 6. If the big green donate, we certainly appreciate that one.
But
that's
the one we like.
Just like you were saying, it's easy to do that. You can get to who we are, talk about our donors and the projects that we've got listed. And you've got several on there that we've delineated, and then events that we will have coming up. And we're looking forward to hosting more gridiron specific events, including something later this next semester for the football players, and recognizing with statuettes or trophies, I guess you'd call them, plaques or whatnot, for all of the weekly awards that we gave this year. And
using another local company for that, Pilot Knob Engraving, which is it's a new name for an old business.
Yeah, McCubbin, right?
McCubbin's trophy. We're doing that, and their daughter Renee and Floyd Book have renamed it Pilot Knob Trophy and Engraving, and Renee's great to work with, and they're coming up with our stuff. Another great local business. So if you have some sort of award or memorabilia or something like that, look them up, because they're really wonderful to work with. And again, they're a local business.
Yeah.
Let's support them.
And it's something for, what a cool thing, you leave Waldorf, you take your diploma with you, and then you leave the program, and hopefully you've got a box full of things and awards and recognition that you've received over your time here. And we're happy to do that. So those are some of the things that we've purchased. The Gridiron has got the website, talk about, there's a link to the podcast. If you want to go directly to the podcast, of course you can do that. If you're not listening to it in a normal fashion anywhere else, which is pretty slick. And then all kinds of just great things. And we're going to continue to see more and more. Another thing that we did this year that I thought was really good, and I think people enjoyed it. I don't think enough people know about it, but we had worked with the local Chamber of Commerce. We got Ashley Davison, who's also working now at Waldorf in another capacity, and then also with the Chamber. So she's got 2 jobs, and she took care of our digital programming, digital program. So on game day for home games, all of our fans, and I'd email that out to anybody that was on our email list. So if you, again, another reason to join is that you get additional info. You get info about the games, you get details, you get whatever it is that we put out, and then you get that digital program in advance. That's pretty slick. It's got all the, she did a great job putting together the format, and we've got our 2 deeps for both teams. We got the whole roster, obviously, that you'd expect, all of the photographs, a little bit of story about the Bull Store field, just interesting things like that. And so the digital program, of course, was a great way for you to carry the information that you needed on the phone, which is always in your hand anyway for a lot of people, without having to carry the paper. And then, of course, we don't have to pay for the expenses of printing. So it's pretty slick deal. And I just thought that was just really great this year.
Yep, did a wonderful job. And we're also, the Gridiron is going to be donating because we're getting new black jerseys. Which
that's right. Yep.
I'm super excited about.
I bet you are.
There is the only thing white on them is the numbers.
Okay,
so pretty happy about that. And so we're donating a pretty decent amount of money to that. Also, obviously, the university purchased the footballs that initially that we used with the team sign for all the home
Right.
games that we used as a fundraiser, and we'll obviously reimburse them for that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good fundraiser for sure. We had 5 home games, and every time, I mean, that probably boosted $1,000, into the coffers to help support these things that we do, and even with the cash prize where the ball lies situation, we had 4 winners every game, every home game. A few of those people just donated the money right back and said they didn't want it, and they just wanted to play for fun, and it was fun to hear their name. And so appreciate all that, but it's really good for, again, those sort of the fun things that we get to do, and helps us do the projects that we have planned, and that's good.
And on the horizon, obviously, we're going to be doing some more intentional fundraising. My committee will be getting together, but one of the big things that we've talked about for a couple of years now is doing a Waldorf Gridiron Club golf tournament.
Okay, yeah.
Because whether you're on the golf tournaments they bring in a lot of people.
They do, yeah.
And so we'll do our best and start planning for that now for some time.
Not a winter one. We did that.
We tried that once, and
it was fun.
Yeah,
I melted a pair of pants.
Yeah,
that was fun. It was certainly fun promoting it. Not a great turnout when you have it in February. I think we did it in February.
Weird.
Yeah. But golf tournament's a great idea. I think we've kicked around the idea of a fishing tournament too.
That'd be fun.
Things like that. So opportunities to get together when we're out of season and to keep promoting Waldorf football. So lots of cool things. And listen, if you're obviously a part of this podcast and you're a follower of Waldorf football and you're a fan, we have committees that are, some of them are super boring. I think my committee is the finance and government. So it's just like the, who writes the rules and that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, the promotions, the activities, the events, and all of those things, you can be a parent and be, a couple hours away or whatever it is. And you could be farther away than that. Like, your input is important, and we can certainly conference you in, whether it's by phone or by FaceTime or whatever. You can be an active member of these committees and participate in the things that we do, not just in the season, but just like football, the real work happens when we're out of season. The fun part is just showing off for the 10 games that we get to have. All the work actually happens in the weeks that are prior to that.
Absolutely, just like anything else. And maybe we could talk to Amber and Chad and get Erdman Outdoors to maybe host and plan a fishing tournament up in Minnesota by Little Falls.
That'd be way better than, nothing against Crystal Lake, where you and I both occasionally drop a line, but this is a little better. It might be a better fishing opportunity up there.
Absolutely.
Not Crystal Lake, Iowa, not Crystal Lake, Minnesota is what
Correct.
we're talking about.
Yeah. So it'd be fun to, because number one, and maybe I'll reach out to Chad and Amber and say, hey, are fishing tournaments popular on any lakes up there? And if he's like, oh my gosh, then it could be the Waldorf Gridiron Club.
And I have no idea how to do that. So that would be fun that'd be a fun committee to have with people that know what they're. I'd definitely participate. It'd be just like a golf tournament for me. I would show up. I look like I've got all the equipment, and I wouldn't win because I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, we just need to know where to stay and pull the boat to. And I think I could probably get 3 or 4.
I like this idea already.
Wow. See, we're getting stuff done.
Yeah.
We're getting stuff done.
Yeah. We're missing Courtney, but does he, I mean, all he does is keep the agenda and sign the certificates. And then he does a lot of other stuff.
He does a lot of stuff. He's
yeah.
I will say Courtney's a great idea, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a salesman through and through. And he's the inspiration to what we do.
That's all. Yeah, that is for sure. And certainly appreciate all of the help that he's given Farm City Insurance and just the general, it's fun to be, it's fun to be part of the Gridiron Club. There's some work involved, but it's a good service, and it's a fun group. And I can tell you that just hanging out in the tailgate area and meeting everybody and just being a part of that environment, it certainly affects, your feeling. Obviously, you love all the kids on the field, and then you know that they're giving it their all every Saturday. But then the whole camaraderie that comes with the entire program and the event that truly Saturday afternoons become. And now it's going to get even better because we're going to be a lot closer, so we can take it on the road a little bit better and continue to develop. Yeah. So you can give money to the Waldorf football program directly, and I know that the coaches do their fundraising, and that's great. And but you can also, and we definitely want you to be a member of the Gridiron Club too. And you don't have to join at massive levels. Just being a part of the program, giving a little bit of money, it goes a long ways. And then if you're interested, say, hey, send us a note. Say, hey, what kind of the committees are listed, the type of projects that we've got. We would definitely take you. And like I said, you don't have to necessarily come to Forest City for a meeting now and then. We can conference you in and take your input. And if Andy and I can come up with some good ideas just
sitting here on the fly
here, there's got to be a lot more.
Yeah, if you have some good idea for a great fundraiser and you're a fan of the program and part of whether you're part of the Gridiron Club or not, if you just want to provide some input, we're always happy to listen and have ideas and things like that. I'm the chair, or I'm the person responsible for fundraising and membership, and funds and membership is down this year.
Yeah.
So, but
wait a second. What are you doing?
I know. I wish I knew. But we're going to get together like Nicole Chapa, head coach's wife, Nicole, and maybe a couple of her friends have said that, we'll get involved. And Adam and Trista Helm will probably have to grab your brother-in-law, Reed, and your sister-in-law, Juliana, and just see what they can put together, and we'll sit down and we'll come up with some ideas. So as the season's winding down, that's where we're going to have to start ramping up our fundraisers and come up with some ideas and
that are fun to be together. It's we certainly appreciate, everybody loves the 10 games in the season. We want to do the best we can to continue that family atmosphere and to continue that tailgating atmosphere in the best way possible. And again, all in the support of the program. And Andy, we would be remiss if we did not mention the first time this season we offered an online opportunity to purchase Gridiron swag.
Oh yeah. Pretty excited about that. I think it'll be available next week. And we were kind of late into the game. We should have started it in about July.
But now we know.
But we do know now. And I think what we'll do is probably before spring ball starts, we'll
do another one or something.
Yeah, we'll do something, and maybe we'll have some continuing items on sale that, they don't have to produce in mass like they did, because this time it was screen printing and they just wanted to do it all at once, and that's why we had this single design. It's got our logo on it, and underneath it says #WooBall, because that's our thing.
WooBall,
and on the back, of course, it says the best small college football experience in America. And it's true, it is. And so I've got a couple long sleeve t-shirts and a sweatshirt heading my way. And I think my wife ordered some stuff. I know my daughter down in Missouri ordered some stuff. I'll be heading over to Algona next week.
Well, Andy, I am excited to get, I feel like we could very easily sell at least 2 t-shirts that have our faces on it.
I think so. So email us at, info@waldorfgridironclub.org. And let us know if you'd be interested in a podcast t-shirt. The Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast, caricatures of Troy and I. And somebody's down in the bunker.
All right.
But anyway, and then fantastic. Well, I think that's going to have to wrap it up for us, Troy.
We covered a lot of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of ground.
Good to have you back.
It's good to be back. This always kind of energizes me after spending full weekends with the team and staying busy and just being able to spend some time with our players and the coaches. And I can't tell you how much of an honor it is to be part of that program. And I'm thankful to Coach Chapa to allow me to be just a small piece of it. And obviously the other coaches and these kids, if you're a mother or father listening to this podcast, and you have a player on here, I'll tell you what, I love your son. I do. And, I'm going to be, the old uncle, dad, whatever you want to call it to your young man, while he's here at Waldorf.
Get a Pall Mall smoking out of your side of your mouth. Hey, be Zeke. That kind of uncle. Hey, Zeke. You call everybody Zeke.
I should.
You should.
What do you need, Zeke?
Yeah.
So anyway, hey folks, we love your kids. Thanks for sending them here to Waldorf. And if you're thinking about sending your kid to Waldorf, just know that they're going to be ours for a little bit. As Troy has said time and time again, it's very true. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast. Thanks so much for listening. Cheer on our Warriors. Tune in. If you're not going to Dickinson, take a look. We'll have a bye week, and then we finish up at Valley City here in another 2 weeks. So, folks, again, thanks so much. For Troy Thompson, this is Andy Buffington, and forever and always, go Warriors.
You can join the Waldorf Gridiron Club and be part of the best small college football experience in America.
Just visit our website and pick your membership level. Find us and everything Waldorf Gridiron Club related, including professional photos, at waldorfgridironclub.org.
You can also click on the Support the Show link in the show notes to donate.
And you can even use the United States Postal Service by sending your check to the Waldorf Gridiron Club, P.O. Box 125, Forest City, Iowa, 50436.
It's tax exempt, hassle-free, and has a level for every budget.
That's right. Anyone can join, even our rivals.
Show your colors. Join the Gridiron Club today.
Get it?
Got it. Fantastic.
The Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast is hosted by Andy Buffington and me, Troy Thompson. Produced by Sunnyside Farm Studios in beautiful rural Forest City, Iowa. Platformed by Buzzsprout and music by Soundstrike. The Waldorf Gridiron Club is a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to the student athletes of the Waldorf University football program. Our mission is to assist the program in maintaining the best small college football experience in America.